episode of Hardcore Minecraft, I'm going to mine a giant 100 by 100 area all the way down to bedrock, so that I can not only get a bunch of valuables, but also a huge space to build farms. Now, the first thing we need to do is mark out our 100 by 100 space. I think right here is perfect. So now that the 100 by 100 is marked out, it's time to begin mining. The first mining method we're going to do is just regular mining. But as the video goes on, the crazier the mining methods will get. But for now though, to make things easier, let's craft 4 beacons and give them all haste 2. Much better. Oh my, this is so satisfying. Okay, I think we may need even more pickaxes. I mean, I do have all of these pickaxes, but I have a feeling that even this won't be enough. So let's make an extra 5 pickaxes. I also think I have some spare netherite around here somewhere. Where did I put it? How did I not see that? So let's upgrade all of these. Now we just need to get some enchantments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's combine all of this together. All of these pickaxes are getting efficiency 5, unbreaking 3, and mending. You've got to be kidding me. I've run out of XP. Let's quickly get all of the XP that we need. And you know what? Because we're here, let's also mend up our pickaxe. We can finally add the final enchantment to this pickaxe, and boom. So now that we have all of these pickaxes, let's get back to mining.
You think this is a game? Open excavation in the town square? Harvesting lumber without a permit? In the park? And jaywalking?
Miss Minecraft? We get it. Just play with friends on your own Minecraft server from Hostinger. Claim complete control with just a few clicks. The mods, the plugins, and the player count are all up to you. Keep creepers out.
Alright, so we are making some pretty good progress. I know we have a long way to go, but when this thing is done, it is going to look absolutely crazy. Now, another thing I'm going to do while I mine this 100 by 100 is collect every single ore that I find with a Silk Touch pickaxe. And of course, there's only one place we can store all of these ores, on top of the giant furnace. So let's go and place all of the ores I've collected so far, and boom. So this is everything that we have collected so far. So throughout the video, we'll keep on adding to this pile, and then at the end, we can mine all of it and see how much we get. But now that we're back at the 100 by 100, I want to test something out. You see, a Minecraft chunk is 16 by 16 blocks wide. And what I want to do is take a chunk out the corner of this 100 by 100 and time how long it takes to mine it all the way down to bedrock. And that way we can get an idea of how long this entire project will take us to finish. So let's start the timer. Yes, we have found our first diamonds in the 100 by 100. 5 diamond ore, that's not bad. We are almost done. I just have to remove all of the deep slate between the pieces of bedrock, and we are finished. So mining this entire one chunk took us just over 3 hours. And well, seeing as mining this took that long, I don't even want to know how long the rest of this is going to take. But on the bright side, at least we got all of these ores from mining out the one chunk. So let's place all of these ores on top of the giant furnace. And boom, this thing is only going to get taller. This is just the beginning. Anyway though, before we continue mining, all of my pickaxes are almost destroyed. So let's fix them. Alright, our pickaxes are looking a little bit better, so I think we all know what that means. It's time to get back to work. Guys, this truly is taking forever. The only thing that's keeping me mining at this point is just knowing how cool the end result will be. Oh, and also, while I was mining, I stumbled across this. I'm gonna have to patch that up later. But for now, there are a ton of ores I need to mine. Alright, now that we've done that, let's try and mine all the way down to deep slate level. This is gonna take some time. Are you guys okay? I mean, what is going on? Is this supposed to be happening? They're literally not even shooting their bows or anything. Hey! Yes, yes, we're finally starting to see some deep slate. Now, there is a little bit of a problem being this low down. And, well, that problem is the beacons that I set up do not reach all the way down here, so I have absolutely zero haste. So, to fix this, let's move all of the beacons down lower. Alright, the beacons are now in their new positions, and that of course means we can go back to mining fast, and is that an amethyst geode? Oh, it is. Wait, hold on just a second. That means now that we're down at deep slate level, not only are we going to be finding amethyst geodes, we'll also be able to find things like mine shafts, mob spawners, and maybe even a stronghold, who knows. But anyway, now that we found this amethyst geode, I think we all know what needs to be done. Oh, that was satisfying. Okay, let's try not to get too distracted. Because, yeah, we still have a lot of work to do. But I mean, we're making great progress and we're even starting to see some deep slates. So let's keep on going. Whoops. Now, this is where everything started to go wrong. You see, this entire time I've been instantly mining stone with my beacons and making amazing progress. But because I was now starting to see more deep slate appear, mining became much more difficult. And, well, if I didn't move on to the second mining method, this project would become almost impossible. So I knew what needed to be done. Alright guys, as much as I've enjoyed the first method of mining, we have to move on. You know, it has brought us all the way down to this level, but at this point, mining like this is way too slow. So it's time for method 2, the moss method. The way the moss method works is simple. If you place down one piece of moss, you can use bone meal to expand that one single moss block into a bunch more. And then by using a hoe, you can mine all of the moss blocks instantly. And well, seeing as moss blocks are much easier to break than deep slate, this method is going to make mining deep slate really easy. Perfect. We have found some of the lush cave trees, so if we dig down under, we should find a bunch of moss. And here we go. We are going to have to mine thousands and thousands of this stuff, so let's keep on mining up a bunch and...
Send professional invoices and get paid faster, all with the QuickBooks mobile app. Easily create and send...
Boom, we now have more than enough moss blocks. Now let's get a bunch of bones for bone meal. That should be enough. And in total, we have ourselves one full shulker box of bone meal. Finally, we can craft some diamond hoes and give them all unbreaking 3. We now have everything we need, so let's test this method out. Oh, wait a second. I really need to clean this up. So let's grab a bunch of stone and patch this up. Perfect. Anyway, let's get back to mining. Now for this method to work, I need to place a bunch of moss blocks into the ground just like this. And now all we have to do is grab some bone meal and see if this works. So let's test it on this, and yes, there we go. We can turn deep slate into moss. This is genius. And there we go. So I think everything should now be covered in moss. This has to be one of the craziest mining methods I've ever seen. I mean, just look at this place. So instead of mining deep slate this slow, we can now just get our diamond toe out and mine all of this instantly. This has to be my favorite method of mining. Alright, one layer has been mined. Now, usually I would have had to spend hours and hours of my time mining deep slate, but because of this method, I was able to take out an entire layer of this 100 by 100 in literally no time. But we still have a ton of moss blocks and an absolute ton of bone meal, so let's try and make as much progress with this method as we can. Now, the moss method was working perfectly. I was gliding through layers of deep slate and making an absolute ton of progress. But doing this method was using up a bunch of my bone meal, and unfortunately for me, this happened. No, we only have 5 pieces of bone meal left, which means this method has to come to an end. I mean, on the bright side, we mined a lot of the 100 by 100 by using this method, and wait a second, what are you doing down here? Now, anyway, before we move on to the next mining method, I need to make sure that I'm getting all of the ores. And, well, speaking of ores, I should probably place all of the ores that I've gathered so far. And, yeah, it's a lot. Now I've got to stack them all on top of the giant furnace. And boom. That is all of the ores that I've mined from the 100 by 100 so far. And I wonder how much stuff I'll get from all of this when I mine it with my fortune pickaxe later. Anyway, now we're back at the 100 by 100 hole. I think it's time to get serious and move on to the final mining method to complete this 100 by 100 hole. Now let me introduce you to mining method number 3, the ultimate TNT duper machine. This contraption is a moving TNT cannon, and it will drop TNT and pretty much explode anything in its way. But doing this method is not going to be easy. One of these machines costs a ton of resources to build, and I don't just need one, I need a bunch of these things. So let's gather everything we need, starting with slime blocks. I'm sorry about this. And we now have enough slime balls. Now let's craft these into slime blocks, just like this, and this should be enough for all the flying machines. We're also going to need a bunch of redstone items, so let's craft all of these. Alright, so we now have all of the slime blocks and all of the redstone items we need for the TNT machines. But now the item that we need next is a really random item called a coral fan. And I believe the way that you get these coral fans is from a warm ocean. We're here, so let's try and find what we need. Alright, let's swim down, and I did bring myself some shears, so let's just go ahead and try and pick some of this. Wait a second, maybe I have to use Silk Touch. Oh, there we go. Now, the problem is there is so many different types of coral, I actually have no idea which one I'm supposed to get. You know, I'm just gonna grab a bunch of yellow ones and just hope they work. All right, we have 11 so far. Let's just grab a few more. And there we go. So I think 35 should be enough. Next up, we need some obsidian, craft some mine carts. And finally, let's gather a bunch of sand to, of course, make all of the TNT that is going to be used in these flying machines. We now have everything we need, so let's attempt to do this. Now, some of you guys may know I suck at redstone, so be prepared for this to go very wrong. So the first thing we need to do is build 10 blocks from the ground. Now, this is where the first machine's going to go, so let's just quickly break out some of this. Now we make a platform for the machine to go, place down a piece of TNT, and add a wall on top. Now we need to get one of our observers right here. Now let's place some slime blocks, just like this. And then on top of this slime block, we can add a detector rail and a minecart, then place our coral fan right here. Now I think I put a sticky piston right here, with some slime blocks just like this, with another sticky piston right about here. I think this is looking pretty good so far. Anyway, though, I think we finished this up by placing a piece of obsidian here, another observer here. Now we can place a block with a lever underneath. Now on top of the block we just placed down, we have to put some redstone down and a redstone repeater. And now we can turn on the lever and place down a trapdoor right here. And now to finish off this part of the machine, we have to place an observer right here. And just like that, this entire machine is finished. All we need to do right now is go over to the other end of the 100 by 100 and build a machine that will make it so when this reaches this end of the 100 by 100, it will get sent straight back. You'll see what I mean. So now we're on the opposite side. We have to place down some blocks with a repeater and also some redstone. Then let's put a trapdoor here with a block on top. And then next to this block, let's place another block with obsidian on top and an observer facing this way. Now that the obsidian and the observer is in position, we can go ahead and break this block. Right, let's fly back over to this side and break all of the blocks underneath the machine. And now I think we are all ready to use these machines. I am very scared to do this. No! Oh, no, what have I done? Wait, no, what did I do? Okay, I may have accidentally sent the machine off, and I had no idea it was going to work, and it's working. I didn't even mean to break that piece of redstone. Whoa, look at the amount of deep slate it's already breaking. Now let's just hope that this machine gets sent back the other way, and yes, it actually works. Now, there is just one problem I'm having with the machine. I don't actually know how to turn it off and make it stop. I've turned off the lever, so I'm hoping it will stop when it gets here. Come on, and please stop. Oh my, how do I stop this thing? Okay, what happens if I just turn this on?
Not many companies hire a master plumber. At West Shores, we go the extra mile to give that customer the
Yes, there we go, it stopped. So now that we've got one of these things working, let's build 10 of them. We now have 10 automatic flying TNT duplicator machines. I can't wait to turn all of these on. I've also just discovered that there's a mine shaft under the 100 by 100. But what's even cooler than that is the amount of diamonds we're about to get. So I think it's time that we turn all of these machines on. Now, the only one I've tested is, of course, this one. I have no idea if these ones work yet. But you know what? Let's just risk it. So let's turn this one on, and let's just run down and turn on the rest of the machines. Wait, hold on a second. This one is not working. Okay, it's because I need to put an observer here. Okay, let's turn this on, and there we go. Now I need to be really careful because there is just so much TNT, but this is insane. Hold on just a second. For the most part, all of the machines are working, but there are a few which for some reason have stopped working. I think I fixed everything, so we should be good to go. Now, before we turn